welcome to another edition of the Real Estate Tea with Nikki in NYC, and I am she. We have a bit of a different format this go around because, listen, your girl couldn't quite get it together in time to make sure that I was put together enough to be on camera. So we're doing a little off-camera action here, but anyway, all right, we will be looking at numbers for March 2024 for sales and rentals in both Manhattan and Brooklyn. Let's go and check those out. Manhattan sales. As you can see, contracts signed were down year over year, not too unexpected, especially given that we are in a very different position with interest rates when we were last year this time. But you'll see that contracts did enjoy a nice healthy uptick on a month over month basis. That's pretty consistent with seasonality. Now, the price per square foot, not such great news for sellers, but some pretty nice news for buyers. They were both down year over year and month over month, although this is largely being driven by the kinds of homes that were purchased. So there were fewer really high-end listings, fewer very expensive new developments. And so that's what's primarily bringing this price per square foot down. But again, this is still good news for buyers. And another bit of good news for buyers, active listings. They were both up year over year and month over month. The gains were pretty modest, but still, it's always good to have options, and this isn't necessarily bad news for sellers because we aren't exactly oversaturated with listings at this point still in Manhattan. All right, let's hop over to Brooklyn. So Brooklyn, we're pretty much seeing similar trends as to Manhattan. So contract signed down year over year, but up a really nice 20% month over month. Also, price per square foot down both year over year and month over month. Again, similar to Manhattan, this is being driven more by fewer higher end listings having been signed up during the month of March, as opposed to actual kind of price declines. But again, still buyers will take whatever good news they can take, especially in Brooklyn more so than Manhattan. And actually, speaking of which, active listings, buyers finally saw an uptick in listings on a month over month basis, but they're still feeling squeezed because, as you can see, inventory is down significantly compared to last year this time. All right, now let's tackle rentals, starting with Manhattan. So signed leases are down compared to last year this time, but they were actually up month over month. So again, with the surprising market strength of rentals at this time of year. And unfortunately, that was reflected in the rent. Y'all, please don't be mad at me because, as I keep saying, I have nothing to do with this, okay? So unfortunately, that median rent hit a record high. This is largely being driven by people signing a lot of leases in doorman buildings. Now, as far as active listings, they were up substantially year over year, so continuing that trend, but they actually declined month over month as people decided to actually snatch up those leases. So let's look at our averages. Again, if you're looking for an apartment right now, this is not going to be news that you exactly want to see. Those numbers just keep going up, and it's kind of unclear when they're going to stop, considering that we haven't even hit peak rental season. So we'll see what we see is in store for April. All right, let's hop across the East River to Brooklyn. Leases signed decreased year over year, but they actually increased month over month. Again, similar to Manhattan. Also similar to Manhattan, those rents keep going up 10% compared to last year, but just kind of a modest increase compared to February. It's kind of cold comfort, though, for renters, similar to the situation with average listings. So, again, they're higher than they were last year this time. Great, but probably doesn't really feel like it because they actually declined on a month over month basis. So looking at average prices, and again, you keep seeing that like Manhattan, they just keep going up and up. I do want to remark on the studios number that this is being driven by a lot of leases in doorman buildings, and that's why you're not seeing that much of a difference between studios and one bedrooms. When you consider non-doorman buildings, the price differential between studios and one bedrooms is actually quite a bit bigger. All right, so that's it for stats. Are our takeaways from all of this? Well, I think it's pretty safe to say that whether you're looking to buy or you're looking to rent, it's going to be tough out there for different reasons, right? So, if you're looking to buy, interest rates are obviously one of the biggest concerns because as opposed to going down, they have been rising as of late. And of course, that is impacting buyer purchasing power. Now, there's also the situation with inventory. It has absolutely improved. And I'm seeing this in the actual numbers, and I'm also seeing it anecdotally with my clients. Like, there are clearly more listings than there were a month ago, and certainly more than, like, 2 months ago. So that's great. But is that the level that we're accustomed to seeing this time of year? No, absolutely not. So it is very, very competitive out there. So when something great hits, you better be ready to move on it. Otherwise, it's pretty much gone. So there is that. But of course, there's this other aspect of the market where there are lots of listings that are just lingering because they can't seem to find buyers, because there are lots of buyers who are waiting on the sidelines because of the interest rates. So we still aren't seeing sales at a really robust level, and the level of activity is just really different, neighborhood by neighborhood, apartment type by apartment type. It's just there's we're seeing some seasonality, but there's definitely a lot of what I would call weirdness in the market. And for renters, I I don't unfortunately see much in the way of relief for you folks just yet. That might happen if more landlords decide to list their properties because they're encouraged by rents remaining so strong. So that could potentially help, but there aren't necessarily a lot of projects out there that are going to be coming online in terms of new development in either Manhattan or Brooklyn, despite all the building, because a lot of the buildings that you're seeing are, they're still quite a ways away from actually being completed or ready for residency yet. So they're not going to be able to hit the market in time to have that much of an impact. So now that being said, because rents keep on going up, despite high interest rates, there's a lot of you out there that need to be considering whether or not it actually might make sense for you to buy. So be sure that you are kind of like, not counting things out just because of the high interest rates. Actually look at prices, actually see what your monthly payment is going to be, because if you can find a building with reasonable monthly carrying costs, then the rent versus buy equation might actually tilt more strongly in favor of buy. All right, that's what I have for you. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next time. And hopefully, next time I will actually see you and actually be on camera. All right, bye.